What is up, everyone? Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode 54. We are back at it again to talk some Jays, to talk, I don't even know what else because nothing else to talk about when it comes to the Jays. There is actually some interesting stuff in terms of just what's going on with these players that have been being called up for the Jays. Will Wagner, that guy right now has been awesome. Right now, the Jays are up 5-0. I've got the game on in the background, but there's so many different players on the team right now that have just been awesome. Ernie Clement, Spencer Horowitz, and it's looking. I'd say it's looking pretty brightly for the future of this team. Hopefully, that's all I have to say. I
Mhm.
don't know. What do you think, Ryan? Do you think that the Jays have a chance? What's the chance percentage? If you're to put it on a percent, what would be the percent of Jays above 500 next season?
Uh, I'd probably say 50-50 by the way they're playing right now. I think the young guys are playing great, and that's what's kind of making this exciting to watch this team. All the old guys that were on the team, like, Justin Turner and I wouldn't say IKF's old because he's kind of in the prime of his career, but Kevin Kiermaier and obviously last year with Brandon Belt. But I think these old guys were kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say making the game boring, but I just couldn't really watch the game. And now these young guys, it's kind of, makes you feel excited for the future of what this team could look like. And I don't know what, like you said, Will Wagner and Horowitz and Clement, they're definitely making the games more watchable.
Yeah.
Even if they do lose, they're keeping it relatively close.
Well, right now the big issue is just like lack of good pitching, and even if the bats are still good, like yesterday's game against the Reds. So we'll talk about that series.
Hmm.
It was a great example of the bats showing up, 6-0 lead, 6-run lead, and then you bring in what is possibly one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball into the game to try and shut it down, not let the bleeding continue, and then the bleeding just kept on coming.
Hmm.
It just ended up being terrible for this team, and in a series we probably should have won, they ended up losing. But
Hmm.
at this point in the season, we already know that this is who this team is. We know that they are not good. We know that, and I've repeated myself considerable amounts of times about this team. But I don't know. I did want to ask some other questions though for you because I think there are things we can talk about this team. George Springer, big game. He had 2 home run
Hmm.
game in the second game of the series against the Cincinnati Reds, and I wanted to get your prediction. Right now, he's at pretty sure 16 home runs. But what's your final season prediction for him?
Well, it's kind of funny because at the beginning of the year, I had him getting 40, and obviously that's not going to happen. He's at 17 right now, which isn't too bad. Like, I think that would have been his average realistically this year. But obviously, for how much money he's getting, he should be performing a bit better. But I'd say, by the end of the year, I say he gets a couple more. I'd say he definitely reaches 20.
Yeah.
I think he gets 22. I think he'll get 5 for the end of the year, maybe even more. But I think 22, 23 is the probably the goal that I think he'll reach. But he's playing great right now. I got to be honest. He's definitely you know, batting great. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. No, he is. You're right. He has been hitting very well in the most recent games, I'd say. Other than that, it's been an up and down season for Springer. Right now he's at 17 actually. So yeah, I think he could get. I think he'll 100% get to 20, and that'll be his fourth season in a row with the Blue Jays with above 20 plus home runs, which that is value. That is 100% value, but you can't ignore early slumps of George Springer. You can't ignore the period in which he was he's striking out on pitches way out of the zone, sliders and fastballs that are going right past you. That is really showing his age, and it was scary at a point because you thought, this guy is cooked. He's old, but he's been valuable. He's at least he's got 1.2 wins above replacement at this point, and I mean that's something. That's good. Another player that we didn't mention though was Leo Jimenez is another one, and
Yeah.
Loperfido, is another guy that have been added value to this team. Leo Jimenez right now 233, not great, and same with Addison Barger is 168. But if we're to talk about them right now, they're getting their early season reps, and there's plenty of examples in the past where in a non-competitive season, that's kind of a lost season when they bring up players. This is their chance to get those reps for next year and be successful. I think of even Mike Trout. Obviously, these guys aren't at the same level as Mike Trout was, but Mike Trout's first season in the big leagues was terrible. But the next season, he came back and got called back up. He was incredible. And we know him now as Mike Trout. And ever since that, he's been Mike Trout. So getting these early reps are super important for their development as a player. So that's the biggest thing I can think of at the end of this season is getting reps for these young guys so they can develop into stars and develop into better players. And
Yeah,
I'd like to see,
for sure. Honestly, a lot of to give a comparison, a lot of NHL players that get drafted early the year before, they play the garbage games at the end of the season when they don't matter. I remember when before it was the year before Austin Matthews got drafted, Nylander played the last 10 games of the season when the Leafs were obviously very far out of the playoff race. And Nylander just came in and played, I think, 10, 15 games for the Leafs. And that's obviously a good thing for him and, young guys in general, just to get a feel of what it's like to play in the big leagues. And this is great practice for them, obviously, because they still have another, what did you say at last podcast? They have another 30 games or so left in the season. And this is great because they're not playing the best teams like the Angels, but they're getting reps and preparing for next year, which will be very exciting with the young team that the Blue Jays are having.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe potentially they might sign a couple of veterans in the offseason like the Jays usually do to lead this younger team into maybe another postseason run. But yeah, I think this is great for the guys to keep practicing and getting to learn how to play against these big leaguers. So yeah, it's exciting. It's kind of we were kind of having a tough time trying to talk about this team that was struggling to win consistently, but now that there's something going now with all these injuries and the younger guys are being brought up, I think it's very exciting to see what this team is going to look like next year.
Yeah, it's always fun to see kind of take out the trash. I don't want to say that like about guys like Justin Turner and Kevin Kiermaier and all these older players that just aren't fun to watch. You need something new. You need this saying, when something doesn't work, switch it up, change it up. And we're at the point in the season where you got to start bringing up these guys and develop these guys because their ceilings are so high. Kevin Kiermaier's ceiling was, it was below the ground. He's done. His ceiling is already passed. Same with Justin Turner. Justin Turner's fucking 42 years old or whatever. He's 40 years old. So, again, as that's what I mean when I talk about these guys. Is it's important to get these guys developed. Loperfido, their ceiling is so high, and it's exciting, to tell you the truth. What they're going to look like in the upcoming years, and again, they're going to be players that surround Vladdy and give Vladdy that protection in the lineup. And that way you don't have to worry about Vladdy hitting solo home runs all the time and getting 0 RBIs. And hopefully, you know, next year he has 130 RBIs instead of 100 like this year, even though he's still so fucking good, you know. But
Yeah,
that's yeah.
I can definitely see that being a good thing for Vlad, because he doesn't have to rely on, himself to get hits and produce offense for the team. He has other people to
I,
help him out. So
I did want to mention another comparison of like a team that kind of is following the same rebuild, and we're calling up players, even though it might be too early just to get them reps, is 2022 Baltimore Orioles. They weren't
yeah,
even meant to be as good as they ended up being. 83 and 79, that was the record they finished with in 2022. And they bring up Bobby Witt Jr. They bring up Gunnar Henderson. Um, and these
Bobby
are,
Wood Jr.
huh?
Bobby Wood Jr.
Sorry,
He's
no,
on the Orioles.
Adley Rutschman meant to say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're similar. They were called up the
Right.
well. So, um, and just yeah. So anyway, yeah, Adley Rutschman um, and
Who is the other young guy? The pitcher, Grayson Rodriguez. Is
Grayson
that?
Rodriguez was called up the next year though, and same.
Oh, okay.
But those two guys were huge for that team. Kyle Stowers is another example of a prospect being called up. Obviously, he didn't pan out the way they wanted to, but not all prospects do, as we know. But yeah, so and that was huge for them because you struggled, you struggle, but the next year they're that much better. They know how to, participate in the big leagues. They know how to be a big leaguer and know the rules and just know the pace and understand how grueling of a long season it is. So I think that's important. And because it's a lost season too, there's not as much pressure on you as there would be a season where you're being called up and the team on New York Yankees right now, like, being, I don't know, Jason Dominguez or something like that. But yeah, that was just another comparison. Next on the discussion, our friend, not really friend, but our Canadian baseball player, Joey Votto.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I thought it was pretty sad because he was recovering from an injury and he was playing in Buffalo, and they didn't even call him up just to play one game for the team, or even put him in the lineup like as a pinch hitter or something, just to have that experience of playing for your hometown team. I thought it was kind of sad that he retired before even getting a chance to play on the Jays. So I mean, good for him. He's he doesn't have to deal with you know being in the MLB anymore. He's probably, glad that he's out of there. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of sad that they let him go before he was able to be. Kind of sucked.
Yeah, you obviously know that. Yeah, like you said, you obviously know that the Jays are going a different way. It was very unlikely that he would be called up. Right now, again, we're in player development in the era of developing the minor league players into big league players and calling them up so they can develop and bringing up Joey Votto in a season that is lost. It's just it's maybe it would have been nice. It would have been good to see, fun to see a Canadian player who has so much, one of the best, probably a Hall of Famer, um play with the Jays and his final, what was his final season. That'd be pretty cool. But again, it's you need, if you're a serious ball club, you continue to call up these other players and prospects because that's what's most important, and develop those guys instead of like what would happen is they'd send down Stuart Baroa, or I don't know who they'd send down because he's a first baseman. Like you'd still need, you'd have to send down another first baseman probably. So you wouldn't want to
Yeah.
send David Schneider because like obviously he's been struggling, but he's a guy that still you're just gonna grind him through at bats in those tough days, So dog days are almost over, about a week away.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. Anyway, let's continue. Let's talk about. Shall we do remember the game?
Let's do it.
All right. I got
I'll give you your game first.
all right.
All right. So let me just search up the day. Shoot. I lost it for a second. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Okay. September 13th, 2022. Jays against the Rays. Jays are at home. First game of a back-to-back doubleheader.
First game of a doubleheader.
Yeah.
What was it? Game 1 or 2?
1
of the entire series. 5-game series, I remember, right?
Let me see. Sorry. It was 5. It was the second game.
Second game. Okay. They lost that game. I know that. There was a close comeback at the end. I know Mitch White pitched. He pitched 6 innings, 3 earned runs. He came in in the middle of the game, I feel like. He was pitch a bunch of innings. I'm trying to think of the pitcher. Maybe it was Jeffrey Spring, I want to say. Let me think. It was a close game, right?
Yeah, relatively close. Yep.
I remember Bo Bichette had the last at bat of the game and he grounded out to first. I can remember where I was. I remember I was at school and I was watching the game on my phone in one of not that it really matters. I was watching it in
one of our classes
on my phone and watching the last at bat, and then my dad texted me. I think Bo Bichette could have walked it off right there, but he didn't. It would have been Pete Fairbanks probably or Jason Adam. Fuck. Let me think of the score. Okay, can I ask this? Was the run total under 8?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Was it? 4-2?
Who won?
The Rays.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Fucking go, baby. Let's go.
Fuck. All right. You're winning now.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
All
right.
I literally, out of my ass, I pulled that, bro.
I thought I'd get you because I knew
I was at school at that game, so
that's exactly why I picked it, because I knew you'd be at school. I knew you wouldn't be working the game, and I thought I'd fucking get you because you wouldn't remember it that much. Because I knew you wouldn't.
But I was on my phone the entire time, just checking like the game.
Because I know you always do that when you're in class. Sit beside you every time, and you always You're always watching like a 2018 Jays versus fucking whatever.
I know.
God, I should have known. Whatever. I don't know. I thought I would have got you there, but all right.
You might get this one. I think you will. I feel like I've already. Tell me if I've already given you this game though.
Okay.
Dolphins versus Bills. I feel like I have. Miami at Buffalo Bills, December 17th, 2022. At Highmark Stadium. Yeah.
Well, I was at that game, so
fuck.
Yeah. I remember exactly who got touchdowns. I don't know I can't remember the exact score, but I can tell you some good details on who got touchdowns.
if they're good enough, if you get okay, we need to kind of make it a little bit more I think we need to set the rules in a little bit more. You give how about this? You give me 5 details on who scored touchdowns, between the Bills and the Dolphins, then that might pass for if you get the score close enough. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, I remember exactly now. I was obviously at the game, so I remember a lot of it. Tyler Bass obviously kicked the winning field goal to win the game. I can't remember how long it was, but obviously that's pretty hard to figure out. But I remember Bills got into the playoffs after this game. Josh Allen had a passing touchdown at the end of the second quarter, end of the first half to James Cook. It was like he was like running to the right side and he was like fucking, faking it. And then he threw it across his body, James Cook. I remember that very vividly. Knox had a touchdown.
Yep.
2
more players had touchdowns.
2 more players had touchdowns.
If you can get those, then that makes it a lot easier for me to give you this.
Okay. 2 more players had touchdowns. I can tell you who had touchdowns for the Dolphins.
All right.
Waddle had one. I remember that. He had a long one. It was like a 60-yard touchdown. It was long. Hill had one.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Some running back had one.
Can you name that
It
player?
wasn't. Yeah, I can. It wasn't Mostert. I remember that. Achan wasn't on the team yet. Ahmed. Salvin Ahmed. Yeah. He had one.
Salvin Ahmed did not have a touchdown.
What?
Oh, he had a rush. Actually, no, you're right. He did. He had a rushing touchdown. Never mind.
Okay, I was gonna say because I was
looking at
I remember that. It was a short touchdown. It was like a 5-yard rushing touchdown or something. Okay, now that I think of it, I think I do remember the score now. I do remember the score. Obviously, I remember like a lot of it. Like I remember the game and shit. It was a 3-point game because they were tied and Bass won it off field goal. I'm gonna say 32-29. Bills win.
You got it. There you go.
Let's go. Need that.
Tied again.
Thank God you gave me fucking a game that I went to. Thank God. Dude, that year too, that the Bills are so fucking good that year too, man. Oh my God. I wouldn't say that was our year. I'd say the year before that was our year to win the Super Bowl. But yeah. Fuck. That was a great game too, dude. I was like, there isn't a better game to go to than that one. That was literally picture perfect. The fourth quarter was fucking snowing. I remember people were throwing snowballs at the players. Like I remember Josh Allen literally like went onto the mic or something and he literally told the audience to like not throw snowballs or else they'll get a 15-yard penalty. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty wild. Yeah. That was a fun game. I remember after the game, me, my dad, and my uncle, we were stuck in the parking lot for 3 hours, sitting there in the same spot for at least an hour and a half because we couldn't get out because there was only one exit to the parking lot. That was great.
Bro, and it's Christmas time too, bro. That's sick.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was snowing like crazy. Yeah. And then I think we got home. Game ended around 11:30. I think we got home at like 5 because of how long it took for us to get across the border. Also, yeah, it took us a long time to get home. And it took us a long time to get across the border too. We waited there for like 40 minutes. And then we had to drop off my uncle who lives in Mississauga, but we actually got confused with the address. We actually went to Hamilton first, and then we had to go to Mississauga, and then I went back home. So yeah, it was a long night. Yeah. It was a good night though. And I also remember it was the day before the World Cup final. I remember that too. Argentina, France. I remember that because I woke up late. I didn't get to watch the first half of the World Cup final, so I do remember that. So yeah, I do remember a lot of that day. But yeah, let's go into our next segment, things that don't make sense. You go first.
Fuck, all right. Things that don't make sense. I got one for you. Do I have one? I don't even know if I have one, bro. I've been trying to come up with one. Oh, okay.
Okay.
No. I got one. I got one. Um, Things that don't make sense are having to um fuck. It was something to do with movies at the movie theater. No, I don't got anything. I have literally nothing. You go first.
Okay, I can give you one. I can give you one. So this kind of relates to my job. So literally, like every time I work, so I work at a golf course. If people don't know, I work at I basically like the outside services. So I'm kind of like helping people out with like I clean carts, like golf carts. Um, put their golf bags on carts and like get them ready for their round or whatever. Anyways, so when people come back from their round, there's an area in front of the clubhouse that says cart return. That's where you drop off your cart and then you go back to your car and drive home, whatever. We have, I'd say, about 3 different signs at the front of the clubhouse saying cart return. People still don't know where to drop off their carts. It's honestly so I wouldn't say it's like it's so stupid. Like I don't know how you can't look and like see, cart return. There's literally a big ass sign in the front that says cart return here. And people say, "Oh, is this good here?" Good here, which is like 50 meters away from the cart return sign. It's so stupid. Like people are just so, you know, clueless and lazy because they don't want to fucking put their cart a little bit farther away so they have to walk. Like it's not that hard,
Yeah.
just look around and figure it out. At least some people are nice and like, I at least I think I have to direct people to drop like to return carts in like I think today when I had my shift today, I think I had to do it 30 times. Like it was insane how many times. I'm getting tired of it. And like, you obviously have to, sound like you care and stuff, but like sometimes like I'm just thinking in my head like don't these people like can't they read signs or like just look around and figure it out? Or like even if there's like a little section of carts and they still drop it off in a different part. Like they just don't get the memo. It just it pisses me off, especially as someone who works there. Like it makes me so mad. So that's definitely been a big problem with me at work is people are just clueless. It makes me mad.
All right, I got one. This is more of a personal one that does not make sense to me. How people like diet drinks, diet sodas, and think that they are healthier.
Hmm.
In fact, it's just a blatant lie. I get
Yeah.
the there's aspects of it like the calorie part, like compared to like a regular Coke. Regular Coke has way more calories than a Coke Zero, whereas Coke Zero has literally no calories in it whatsoever. But it still tastes disgusting. And that's the thing. It tastes disgusting, and it's also way more unhealthy for you. In my opinion, I think aspartame is like leading to cancer, but so is fucking regular sugar too, just as
Hmm.
Coca-Cola is. But from what I've heard, it's a lot worse. Um, but it just also, in my opinion, it just tastes more disgusting. I'd rather have a classic glass of Coca-Cola, some ice cubes in it. That's me.
Yeah.
Whenever, like,
I definitely understand that take because personally I'm not a big Coke drinker, but like
neither am
if
I.
like if I'm having a diet like ginger ale or regular ginger ale, I'm taking the regular one all day because I feel like natural sugars is more healthier than the fake shit, right? Obviously. And yeah, I rarely have diet whatever, like diet pop or yeah, I can't do it. I don't like the taste of it at all.
Yeah,
It just doesn't make sense to me.
I get that. I can't stand it. My buddy fucking loves Cole, loves Diet Coke, and yeah, no, it's just not my
Yeah, people are like some people are obsessed with like Diet Coke.
dude. I know people are fucking addicted to like Diet
Yeah.
Coke. Well, that's the only drink they have. Anytime you're there, like my sister, is fucking like she'll stop like to McDonald's just to get a Diet Coke, and that's it.
That's bad. That's bad.
Like go out of the way just to get a Diet Coke.
Yeah, that's bad, dude.
And
That's
so is
really bad.
too. He's like he'll bring a Diet Coke just in the car, like he'll just have it, like wherever he goes, because he's definitely addicted to it. But
Yeah, that's bad. I can't be that addicted to a drink. I mean, I like my, iced tea, but I'm not that, I don't have like iced tea on hand with me every day in the car. Like I would go out of my way like to get one. Like I couldn't do that.
I think water.
Especially something so like with so much sugar in it. Like I couldn't do it.
You also kind of feel gross after, like
Yes. Yes, very much so.
like
I would definitely do water. Water obviously is, if like my sister,
you literally need water.
yeah, you need it. My sister has a water bottle with her everywhere she goes. Even at like a restaurant, she has a water bottle.
It's good, man.
But it's good though. It's good though. Yeah, because that's what you need, right?
Water is fucking great. Great for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I was gonna also say, fucking with the Coca-Cola or whatever. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Yeah, my old boss, he was addicted to Coca-Cola. You could not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
Wow.
I cannot. Yeah. And also, I was gonna say another food that you feel shitty after eating is fucking Don's too. That's another addicting food.
Yeah.
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 But anyway,
I try to steer clear from that
I know I do
as
too.
much as possible.
I feel disgusting. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's just the thought of it beforehand, you think of like the fries and stuff, and then like after you're like, why did I do this to myself?
It's all greasy. Your hands feel gross and greasy and like.
Yes. Yes. It's not a good feeling, dude. Not at all.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I love movie theater popcorn. I love it too. But by the end of it, it feels disgusting. Like
Yes. Yeah. And then you have all those like the kernel pieces stuck in your teeth and
like
yeah.
back when I used to like my go-to at the movie theater was cherry Coke and like a bag of popcorn or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, and then I was like, I cannot fucking do this anymore because my mouth has just like been in the trenches. Like it's been.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know, but it's so good. It is good. It's a movie theater popcorn.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you have to add, my friend?
No. Just go Jays, man. Like they're playing. What's the score now? They're still up 5-0 or?
No, he walked him.
Oh, okay.
He's on first and second, 2 outs, top of the ninth. Chance to win it. Nance. I'm not sure his first name. It's a new guy. Apparently, he's got a great.
Okay.
I think we're chilling. I think we're gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, but just hopefully the Jays can just keep this up because they've had a couple good series. So
again, I want to be at 500 by the end of the season. I think that'd be a great goal to have just for the team.
I don't know if they'll do it.
Yeah, like maybe even just like one game below. That way, at the end of the season, you see the record. You're like, they're shit. They weren't that bad. Like they could have been way worse. They could have been the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify. We are on all those platforms. Make sure to like, subscribe, listen to all the new videos. And we've got a big guest coming up next week. Very exciting. As you know, father of one of the Ryans here. His last name, McCabe. What's your dad's first name? Or are you allowed to say?
Daniel.
Dan?
Yeah. Dan. Yeah. Dan.
Is that his nickname? Danimal in high school?
Danimal. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. And stay tuned for lots more content. Cheers.